I thought we could kick things off, Dr. Bandar, with yourself. You worked on a very innovative program. I was just amazed at how you're building a fully automated and localized prefab facility here in Riyadh that you can then replicate across KSA. And you're really at the forefront of driving digital transformation and automation across the industry. So can you tell us a little bit more about your project and how you're driving localization of prefab technologies and some of the innovation from your perspective?
Sure. Thank you for having me today. And I would like to thank the audience as well for spending some of their valuable time with us today. I would like to start with talking about a real example that we have started in 2017. We were assigned one of the Saudi Vision 2030 initiatives. And it was at the beginning very complex project because we were trying to shift from on-site construction to off-site. Off-site as a concept is not difficult. The difficult part was how to automate the process. And this was at the beginning of it. So we looked at the problem from different perspectives. The first thing we did, we formed a group of specialists, researchers, scientists, technicians, and technologists, and all based on KAXT campus. We spent around 18 months researching the problem, looking at existing examples, learning from some of the issues and constraints in the construction industry as well. And then we tried to look into the latest technology and the most important part from the automation process as well. So there are different types of automation processes, and the one we picked to adapt is fully automated process. And the reason behind it, we don't want to produce the same product. What I mean by that, we were asked to develop a project for the housing industry, and my colleague from the Ministry of Housing at that time, 2016, as he mentioned now, they announced a goal to produce or to cover up the high demand of 1.5 million units by 2022, but now it changed to 2028 because there is no industrial solutions. So this is part of the problem. How can we overcome the need of this number by adapting and applying industrial solutions? We did a small exercise. We said, okay, let's do this exercise. If we want to hire all the precast construction companies at that time. And we did the math. By 2023, they cannot produce more than 96,000 units, single-family homes. So again, we don't have enough industrial solutions. So we looked at the problem from different domains. We have the design, we have the manufacturing, transportation, and assembly, both on-site and off-site. In terms of the design, it's a very complex process as well, because once you think about automation, you need to think about a design concept or a design language that would be able to accommodate the end user needs. So you cannot just produce the same house for like different type of people. So as mentioned at the beginning, we have developed what we call the design language, taking into considerations the constraints and limitations of some of the technologies that we were developing at that time, and gave us the ability to produce unlimited options in terms of, let's say, one-floor building, two-story buildings. We can expand vertically, horizontally. We can have any type of, let's say, everyone has a different requirements in terms of quality of life and quality of space. We will be able to accomplish this. I know I talked a lot, so you might take it the second round. Okay.
Thanks very much for that, Dr. Bandar. Patrick, let me turn this over to you. And I know you've been involved with this project, so tell us a little bit about how you drove BIM and 3D across this project and the expertise level required.
Well, thanks. Yeah, and it was great to be involved in this project. And I suppose what interested us in the very beginning was a set of amazing challenges that we were we were set by Dr. Bandar when we were engaged as the modular construction specialist on the project. And of course, getting a Saudi developed housing system for the Saudi housing market that used as much local content as possible, had high automation levels, provided excellent jobs for Saudi nationals, provided good-looking, attractive housing, coherent with the Saudi heritage and lifestyle. Cost, time, you name it. There were just all these challenges, and I thought, well, great, this is something that we can jump into faithfully, and I'm glad we did. So we have other projects that we're developing. We've put together 14 factories in the GCC over the last 6 or 7 years. But as far as the specialist services or techniques or skill sets that were needed for this project, they were hugely diverse. And so Dr. Bandar gave us the license and empowered us to go through and pull industry specialists. We have our own industrial engineers in-house, but we got people, as I mentioned in the talk before, from the automotive industry, from the robotics industry, people from the Virginia Tech, from Fraunhofer Institute, just all over, people from New Zealand, from Denmark, Sweden, and so on, all at the top of their game. And so this was the way that the team was broken down by the area of specialty requirement. But then the actual development of the building system is something I will leave to Dr. Bandar. But it was a basic concept that allowed for mainly raw materials from the Saudi earth, essentially, or underground, to be used, and the resources of the petroleum industry were key to that as well. And there were very few structural models that were applicable to that particular type of construction. So we had to find a specialist in New Zealand who was able to give us the right footing there. So I'm happy to say we've come very close now to the end of this process, and we'll be launching and hope to see a good lot of you down here sometime very, very soon.
Thanks very much for that, Patrick. I have so many questions of you and Dr. Bandar, but I think we should hear from the other panelists first. So if I can switch to you, Mashael. You're breaking new grounds, getting manufacturing precast concrete structures right the first time, using advanced digital technologies. And I really like your aim of being highly sustainable, socially positive, cement production. It's green, it's cost effective, it's creating better jobs. So tell us a little bit more about your project and how you think about applying prefab and technologies to help Saudi and Saudi citizens.
First, thanks for having us today and give a chance to explain to everyone about what is the movement of the transformation of the real estate sector. And especially thanks for Dr. Bandar and Patrick. They make my story short. So what they did, we made same process when we want to develop a new technology for real estate development market and construction. You know, the main risk for any developer in Saudi Arabia and the world is the construction. So we start with searching about what is the best technology, because some technology is good in other place, but it cannot work in Saudi Arabia. So we should focus on the things which can be fit for our market and without the need of change the people thinking or the awareness, because technology or advanced technology and the fourth generation, fifth generation, if they doesn't make people life easier and fit with kill people pain and solve a problem, there is no need to have it. So this is the main factor we focus on. Then after that we found a new advanced technology in Japan, We work with our Japanese partner in research and development first. Then we achieved a good, amazing result by developing the method. Our traditional way, we move it just to the factory to manufacture 90% of the process. We just assemble in the market. But it's not about only the precast, but also about the whole process, because sometime in the construction, you have the precast element in the site, but the project is delayed. So it's not this element is the most important element, but all the journey, how you digitalize this journey and avoid miscommunication, even if people in the site speak different language, how you bring better job to Saudi people. You know, construction market is the first in terms of the number of people working in the market, but the less in terms of Saudization, so only less than 5% Saudi worker there. So, and we want to make our life better, bring better jobs. So how can we make the level of the job be higher with the automation manufacturing? We work to make all the elements of the traditional to be in the factory. We developed some a new way of the building of the, not a new, it's like the traditional, but the element of the traditional for the column, slab, beams to be manufacturing with different system. It's not a new system, but we developed the old system, which is the post tension, the BC, and we developed the panel of AAC to be IALC, the panel with high installation level to make everything manufactured in the factory and move it to the site and build it with between one complete house will take 3 months, but if you're talking about the skeleton, so 1 month to 1 month and a half, which is reduce significantly more than 50% of the time and reduce number of the labor around more than 50%, around 70. And we developed the 3D printing material to localize it. All our product, it's with the local product. It's advanced concrete product, and our partner and I, as a GV, Al Saedan BT in Saudi Arabia, we even commit to the same with to achieve zero carbon with the concrete. So that will show you more sustainability and in the market, and also being green. So nothing will be when you develop something, you will continue the development to achieve your aim goal, which is bring better life for the society. So, but we try to make it simple as much as we can, because you know the transformation need a lot of elements to make it happen. One, it's the labor themselves and material, the sustainability to be localized, and also the soft or the system itself. So we try now to integrate with the government program in order even to train Saudi in Japan and in our factory as well, to make sure we have sustainability, and we achieved our goal by have social return and increase the number of Saudi worker in the sector, and also bring high product quality in the market. So with efficient cost. So it's the difficult equation, cost, quality, and time to make it all align in same time without someone affect the others. That is the equation we focus on, and alhamdulillah, we achieve a good result. And we will continue, as we will have a research, we have research and development center in our factory to still continue development. Sky is the limit. And our ambition with our Vision 2030 is very high. And we looking to transform and export Saudi technology in a market. This is the second ambition we're looking for in the future. Yeah.
That is impressive. I can already see so many collaboration opportunities just on this panel, let alone in that room. So very impressive. And actually, let me turn to you, Yoshi. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about the sort of prefab and digital technologies that you're focused on implementing at this project.
Thank you very much for inviting me. My name is Aizawa. Today, I'm joining this panel from the Tokyo. So unfortunately, I cannot attending this panel. So, and we are very fortunate to have the opportunity to implement our challenging innovation in Saudi Arabia through our joint venture with Mashael. And so we are developing a new stage of digital architecture by converting the entire building structure to prestressed concrete, not reinforced concrete, prestressed concrete. These are not just precast members. This is a technology that greatly increases the durability of the building, and by applying tension to the component by using PC strand during our drawing and after the manufacturing of the members. So originally, this technology created in France over 100 years ago as technology for the big span concrete bridges. The PC construction method has evolved uniquely in Japan. As you know, Japan has natural disaster such as the big earthquake and typhoon very frequently. So use of the prestressed concrete in construction gives building an extremely high degree of the resilience, toughness, resilience, and even in the event of the big major disaster, the distortion of the building will return to its original shape, like a rubber, and the value of the building will not be lost. So this technology is not easy, but we have to standardize the dimension of the members and materials and equipment used for the tensioning and systematizing the all comprehensive technology so that it can also be used for housing. So compared to the conventional construction method, the construction period can be roughly estimated at 1/2. And if the construction engineer are well trained, the housing structure can be supplied in about less than 30% of the time required by conventional construction method.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that, Azaisawa-san. And let me turn this back, Mark, over to you. So Mark, I'm sure many people want to hear from you. You have a really challenging construction goal at Roshan, 400,000 villas by 2030. So that's what, 25 to 45,000 a year, and something that people can occupy immediately. And I know you've been looking at modular prefab. So tell us a little bit about where you think you can apply prefab and why.
Okay. Hi, RJ. Thank you, everybody. As RJ sort of introduced there, Roshan has been mandated to deliver 400,000 houses over the next 7-8 years. We recognize that there's not one construction technology that will be able to deliver those 400,000. So we're exploring a number of avenues. At the moment, we're working at precast, we're looking at hybrid, and with the ultimate aim with modular. The challenges we're having at the moment is a standardization of a design level that we're trying to overcome. We're overcoming this quite simply because we recognize that the digital implementation and transformation into the design process, whether it's DFMA, digital twins, et cetera, is critical for us to deliver our mandate. Consequently, Roshan at the moment is investing massively into both our BIM teams and our GIS teams to take the lead, and we're engaged with a number of consultancies, Esri, Autodesk, BSI, and government agencies to pull into a working group working towards modular design and digital standards so that we can, as probably the largest residential master developer in the kingdom, we can take the lead and pull everybody in together so that we have a baseline digital level that we can use throughout the industry, specifically in KSA and then hopefully in the GCC region. So lots of challenges we have from a unit base, an individual unit base. A Roshan house is a little bit different to the common person's perception of a modular building, which is a porter cabin, rectangular. We've tried to, one of our pillars to meet our mandate is to raise the bar to improve the living quality of the individuals. And there is a little bit of a scaremongering about porter cabins or modular construction. And that's everyone's perception. I apologize for using that there. But and our designs, our building designs have got longer spans. They're irregular shaped. Now, ultimately, we've got to work out how we can get that done through a DFMA process to give us that unique facilities that we are building. And that's a great challenge, and we're having a lot of fun with that, whether it's increasing spans, hiding columns in internal walls and the like. But looking at it more holistically, we also need to use the digital transformation and implementation for our developments. And this is where our digital twin work comes into it. This will then allow us that before we actually build a house, build a development, it allows us that we can look at each house individually from a sustainability perspective. We can then look at the developments from a livability, a construction, waste reduction. So it's an interesting period for Roshan. We're trying to change it. We're trying to change people's perception. We recognize that the modular is the way forward for all the reasons that lots of colleagues have discussed already this morning. And we're looking forward to doing this journey with our colleagues along here. And we're having a lot of fun doing it.
Thanks for that, Mark. I love the message, anti-porter cabin, mass customization. That's absolutely the goal. Folks, I think we're down to about another 2 minutes. I'll turn this over to the room for questions. While we wait for questions, I have 2 quick hit questions. The first one, just to stir things up a bit, using Revit for shop designs, yes or no? Yes?
Yes.
Revit for shop design?
Absolutely.
All right, I'm definitely no, so that's an interesting conversation to have. I don't know how many of you have experience with Revit for shop design and have an opinion on that. Like, dislike? I hope I'm not bashing Autodesk here, but anyway, that's a longer conversation. The next one, all of us have great experience implementing prefab and digital transformation. One quick example that the audience can use, and easy to get, fairly simple to implement, but high value. One example, I'll start with you, for digital transformation. Go ahead.
You mean the added value of the...
No, one example of where you've used digital transformation that was easier to implement, and was a high value. So quick hit that someone can use as they think about getting into the digital transformation.
The challenge, you mean?
Yes.
Nothing gets easy when you start it, because when you start new things, which is not common, it always there is a lot of a challenge. But when you have a dream, you want to achieve it, that's make the journey more fun and exciting, and you can accept to take more challenge. And when you see the high impact in the people's life, because digitalization, new future, it's showing another step of our life, a real transformation, and it's make a better life for everyone. So integrating with everyone and also work, we live in same plant, so we should develop it, we should share the knowledge, we should integrate with everyone to make our life better in the future.
Thanks, Mashael. Patrick?
Well, I suppose I have a number to draw on because we just live in the three-dimensional metaverse, as it were. And recently we did a full structural model for a new design of modular home for, it is Nesma, who are up here, and I must speak to them during the event. And for their new modular construction facility that we're working through with them. And that was a huge, learning curve for us because it included the structural aspect as well as the constructability. So, yeah, that would be my example.
For Roshan, a big win for us using digital has actually been below the ground, the infrastructure, the clash analysis, the coordination. Purely by doing it in digital design, has saved a lot of waste, has introduced a lot of positive sustainability parameters, and actually a lot of innovation has been allowed because we've been able to model different scenarios of infrastructure. So although we always think about buildings and structures, we mustn't forget the advantages of digital design for infrastructure as well. And that's been a big win for Roshan.
Okay, for me, I think the digital transformation opened up the intention or the way to test things by ourselves before we going for specialists or for validation. So the idea is go for it from design to manufacturing directly. We have the tools, we do the test, and then once we pass the prototyping process, then we go and validate it with specialists from the industry.
Any questions, folks, before we break? Please go ahead. We have a question there.
Thank you. I have a question. The benefits of modular construction significant. We all realize this, we all understand this and appreciate it, and it's the way of the future. The question that I have is for everybody, is modular construction at the end of the day has its limitation in terms of it is modular at the end of the day. It has to be within a certain module, developed, built in a factory, then delivered to site or any other type of systems. But it does have an impact at the individualization or the artistic element, the design and the architectural element of the building. Everybody has its own taste. How would modular construction at the end of the day impact this individual taste, artistic? Because at the end of the day, architecture is art in a way or another.
RJ, can I respond to that? This is one of the challenges we have at Roshan. Because of the number of units we're producing, we've got to, no matter what the construction technology is used to construct that unit or units, it has to look the same, less the cultural facades that we put into each of the different regions, but the core structure of a Villa 1 in Mecca has to look the same as the one in Riyadh, irrespective. And this is something that we are working on. This is where digital transformation is becoming particularly important, because it's allowing us to play with the design, to expand the standard normal spans of a typical modular box, etc., etc. So it's something that we're very conscious of. I think we're very confident that the modular route we're taking with a number of vendors is that a resident in a Roshan development, whether he's in a precast house, whether he's in a hybrid house, half modular for the wet units and the dry areas being precast, or a modular house, he won't see any difference, whether it's in the strength, in the look, the aesthetics, and the like.
Let me add to this a little bit. Let's just get a very closest example, the automobile industry. How many brands do we have? Think about it this way. 6 years from now, you'll have different type of modular construction that will be good enough for each one of us, like to overcome their needs and the quality. I will get back to our story as well. We put two goals at the beginning. We want to keep the quality of space. This is a must. What I mean by that, we want the window as a window, floor to ceiling, not a hole in a wall. And we would like to have a wall as a wall for privacy. The second thing, if we want to automate the process, we want to avoid any utilization of the concrete, and we did that as well. We take into consideration local materials. We have developed a hybrid system for the walls and floors and the ceiling without utilizing concrete. Why would we do that? Because, again, we need a smooth production line. We want to avoid any slowing down the process. And at the same time, sometimes constraints and challenges open an opportunity for innovation and thinking about new ideas. And one of the things that you just mentioned, being afraid of having the same building, this is one of the things that we took into consideration. We have developed a complete neighborhood without having one building similar to the next. A complete neighborhood. Thank you.
That's a great point. And actually building off on that, I think both Patrick and Dr. Bandar mentioned the example of the automotive industry. So when I did work at the BMW factory, they ran 7 model lines on the same, 7 model types on the same line, each of which has multiple options. And so this idea of mass customization has been proven and has been developed for the automotive industry. All of that is now being applied in modular construction in the US from our example. The second piece is, what do we focus on modularizing? I take your point that people want differences, but I think that's why we think about rooms as a product and not buildings as a product. So the buildings is about 50% of the project, and that's always highly custom. The rooms, like especially if you think about hotels, if you think about market rate housing, the rooms pretty much look similar. And so if you can get 30% cost reduction or 30% time reduction and 10% cost reduction, I think we need to create affordable building for people. It's crazy that the construction industry is the only industry that's had declining productivity for the last 20 years because we refuse to follow standards and manufacturing practices. And people are suffering. And so that's where I think we need to find the line. If you can pay for a $10 million custom home, absolutely. But if you can't, we should give you an option, right? So I think that's the way we think about it. Anybody else? Any other question before we close? Please go ahead.
I'll use that big. Support that you get in this project from the players in the ecosystems, means in the supply chain, from consultants, from others. So how would you evaluate the support that you get from them?
Again, RJ, from a Roshan experience, we recognize that this has been, I touched on it during my earlier question, an inconsistency between the key players, whether it's a consultant, whether it's an authority. So as I alluded to earlier, we are making a conscious effort as Roshan to take the lead by introducing working groups with ESRIs, with BSI, with Autodesk, from the digital perspective, with the authorities on the GIS side, the BIM side, to try and pull them all together. And we aim to have, in the new year, a number of regular workshops, pulling in the consultants and the key players, so that we're all, shall we say in England, singing off the same song sheet, because this has been a challenge. And that's what, and hopefully, this time next year, when we're at the next festival, you'll see some evidence of that we can be very proud of to put together.
Thanks for that, Mark. I think that's an excellent note on which to end this session. We've heard from Roshan, one of the most forward-thinking mega projects here in Saudi, that this is a movement and all of us have to work together. The whole industry has to support each other in order to get there. And so I think the more all of us in this room can collaborate to make prefab and digital transformation successful,